Hey everybody, we're out here in the woods and we're going to give you a product review of locally made Fetchtech collar and leash system here. So I've had this for a few months, beat the crap out of this, so now I'm going to tell you what I think about it. Part of the system is the actual collar. This is the axis collar, so it's one piece of webbing and it uses very similar components that you see through climbing. In fact, the sizing mechanism is just a mechanical rigging that you see in the climbing industry. You have two loops to tie the leash onto it. So you have your clasps and you have your loop down at the bottom where you would expect it, but also at the top of the collar. And the reasoning for the top loop here is so that you don't have to bend over all the time to secure the dog. So at first I was kind of leery about this, but then as I started using the system more, I found that I was latching the dog 100% of the time using the top. I mentioned here one piece of webbing, handmade here. So you see at the top here we have another layer of, I guess is your visibility. It's a pre-printed pattern here, and one of the comments I got all the time was how bright this ended up being. And I gotta say that having this for a number of months has not faded the color at all. The only issue I think is that I would like to see like a blaze orange or a hunter's orange version of this. The other issue with this over time, if your dog goes into the lake all the time, is that this is a glued on part. It's starting to go a little bit, but it's not something that is going to deter the collar. You can fix this yourself with some other glue here. But other than that, this has been holding up pretty good. The type of webbing that is used is standard climbing webbing, and it is way better than some of the other webbing collars you get out of the pet stores. You know, especially if you have dogs with you know, with a heavy coat such as labs here, they get dirty, stinky all the time. And I gotta say, this is holding up pretty good to resisting getting dirty and stinking, having to wash it. So yeah, this is a pretty good quality material. Next up is the leash, which is the X1 Pro, 57 inches in length, uses climbing rope and webbing, so it's a very sturdy setup here, handmade again, so it's very durable. So what you have here, you have webbing on each side, and the rope actually goes through the webbing up in the handle, comes up, and you also have a little bit of a leash or a loop here, and you have the actual rope, and you got a gate lock here. In terms of construction, really had no issues with the clasp end of things. On the handle side of things, because I let this drag on the ground, on cement, pavement, there's just a little bit of fraying on the webbing side, but it won't affect the construction, and this is going to last for a little while still. No issues with any of the stitching, being a handmade product. No issues there at either end. The only issue that I got here is the at each transition between the webbing and the actual climbing rope, there's a little bit of rubber shield to protect things here. It's a little thin, will wear out maybe over time because you tend to grab your hand on it when you're grabbing the dog or anything like that. So other than that, everything is great in terms of construction. I wasn't sure on the length, being 57 inches long, but it ended up being a perfect length for the dog. And if you're using the leash with another type of system, it works out pretty good. So check it out, fetchtech.ca. Pretty good, durable equipment. Put down in the comments what you think, and we'll talk to you guys next time. A little tricky when you have food on one side and water on the other, but as I mentioned here, he probably needs more than 500 mils for a multi-hour hike. So we're going to put at least a liter of water in there and still have lots of room for food and some other items.